They went last night and sat for 3 hours in the rain.
They didn't get a game.
They didn't have a game.
So I thought they're going back with you today.
They couldn't. No, they couldn't go back. They were flying today. The Israelis were flying today, and the ones from Muncie were in camp and whatever. So
must have been hot there today, huh?
hot, yeah. Yeah.
It was a good game, though.
It's a geschmacker game, yeah. Baseball game that you like, yeah. It's really mud with 7 innings and the runner starting at second base like you're playing in Little League. It's fun.
I know. I don't hear that at all. I'm sorry to say. Runner at second, ridiculous. The 7 I could hear. Yeah. All right, let's go. Late arriving crowd, but we gotta go. Yeah, so we're on Pei Vav Amud Beis, about 10 lines up from the bottom. Yeah. Here we have it. We're all on the same page, literally. Okay, so Shnei Parnasim Toivim Amdu Lem Yisrael. There were 2 Parnasim Toivim, which is a very interesting lashon. I mean, a parnas means that we've learned that the parnas doesn't mean that I guess that's where the lashon parnas comes from. But they were gedolim. Amdu Lem Yisrael, who were Aimer for Yisrael, Moshe and David. And Moshe Amar. But Moshe says, Yikasev Surchani, write my Surchan, what I did wrong in the Torah. Shenemar, Yan, Layamantabi, like Bisheni. So because you didn't listen, you didn't believe me to make me Kaddish, right? This is going on the story with the rock that Hashem told Moshe to talk to the rock. And instead, Moshe hit the rock. So Mamela, him and Aaron were not allowed into Eretz Yisrael. Right, so Moshe wanted Hashem to tell everybody, to let everybody in Klal Yisrael know that why he was being punished, which answers a question that I've always had, which is how come every parsha Kamat, it's Moshe Rabbeinu, you're not going to Eretz Yisrael because you did this and this. I always wonder why does Hashem keep putting it in his face like that? Comes out
last week in the Rashi. It's the last week in the Rashi. He brings it. Yeah.
It's all the time. So it comes out.
Yeah.
The reason why Hashem did it is because Moshe asked for it. Moshe wanted it. It wasn't coming from Hashem. It's coming from Moshe. So, okay, so Moshe wanted it publicized. David Omar Al Yikosef Surchani. Right? David said, don't say it.
I'm sorry, where are you starting from, Yaakov?
10 lines up from the bottom of Pei Vavam Beis.
Okay.
First one on the line, we're up to Shanema. Because it says, Shanema Ashrei Nesui Fesha Kisui Chata. Praise is the person whose Pesha is forgiven, but who hides his Averis. Okay, so there was 2 different attitudes by 2 different people, 2 different leaders, yeah? Mashal the Moshe and David, Lama David. What's the mashal for what went on not between Moshe and David, but from Moshe and David? L'shtei nashim shalaku bebezdin. There were 2 women that had to get malchus in bezdin. Achas kilkala v'achas achla pagesh shvius. One was makalkal, meaning she was mezana, and one ate shvius, 8 figs, unripe figs of shvius. One is obviously a major avera. One is not as bad. One is a mitzvah saseh, right? Or a bittul of aseh. So anyway, so Amr Lahen. So the one that was being punished for shvius, like he's speaking in third person, he says, let everybody know why she, meaning herself, is getting malchus. Like a zuluk. I don't want everybody to think that I was mezana like this other lady. Right? All I did was not all, whatever she did an avera, but it was not on the level of znus. So therefore, she wanted everybody to know about it. So viu page shvius. So they took dried figs from she's a talabet zavara, hung it on her neck. He like So to let everybody know that it's Geshvius, right? So what's a pshat here? So Moshe didn't want anybody to think that the reason why he was being punished was because of the Chera Meraglim. He didn't want to be known as one of the Meraglim, and they say, oh, you see, the Meraglim all died, so Moshe also died. No, he didn't want that, right? So that's why he wanted it to be publicized why it is that he was being punished. Fine. Mefarsim is a chanofin. So we're mefarsim. So chanefin here, chanifa usually means those that kiss up or whatever the lashon is, right? But it seems like it's chanofin is people that I checked.
Yaakov, according to this, you should be mefarsim every time you bring a chatas and what it was for.
If you don't want people to think that you're doing things as bad as people may think, then yeah, that's what the Gemara is saying. If they're going to think you do something real bad.
You just told me you had sugar in your coffee before the davening. That's why.
Right. So you want to, you don't want to look as bad. So anyway, so the article touched Chanefin here as what did he say? Hypocrites. Right? Mefarsim is a Chanefin. You have to be you have to publicize it. Why? Hashem, because it's Chil Hashem. Right? So meaning you have to let everybody know about them, because otherwise it's going to be. And this is unfortunately, this becomes a tough question. What happens if you have a rabbi that everybody knows is bad news? And if you're not mefarsim him, then he's going to say things and do things that are going to make a big chilul Hashem. So Gemara here is saying you got to be mefarsim these people. The problem is with nowadays to do this with social media and all that, you get the guy just puts out a social media campaign in support of him, and then the whole thing turns into one big fat chilul Hashem, right? That nowadays this whole thing is blown up. But anyway, the Gemara is saying that you have to, right? You have to be mefarsim it. What's with lashon hara? There's no lashon hara when the guy is not a legitimate person. The problem is who's the judge for who's legit and who's not. That's what comes out. Anyway, shenemar. Uveshuv tzaddik mitzidkoi, right? When a tzaddik turns doesn't mean to do tshuva from his tzidkis, he turns away from his tzidkis. V'asa avel, and he does a chet. V'nasati mishal lefonav, and then I put Hashem is gonna put a michshal in front of him. Yeah. So that's it. So you're gonna have to publicize it. Yeah. Tshuva samuchlot and makevas saperonius. Yeah. So this is saying that the tshuva of somebody who is really bad, will be ma'akev. If he does tshuva, it's going to be ma'akev the punishment. Even if he has a sealed din, and he's doomed to get punished, but if he does tshuva, it's going to help for the Peronius, and that's one thing. Shavas Rishayim Seifet Akala, and the Rishayim that are peaceful. And the end, it's going to end up messing them up, which the Gemara is going to say on Amud Aleph, is going to continue with that. But Roshos Mekaveres is Baleo, and this we had in Brachas. Anybody who has public positions, that ends up burying its owners, because Aram Nichnas Lov, Aram Yotzu Mimena. You go in undressed, you go in naked, and you leave naked. Meaning, when you deal with Tzarchei Tzibur, you don't get anything for doing it, and you don't get any reward whatsoever. Ulavai Shetei Yitzia Kibiyah. And the hope, and it would halavai that it should be that the leaving should be like the coming. Meaning, just like he went in without doing a chet, before he got involved in tzorchei tzibur, he didn't do any chatayim, at least the chatayim benegeh to the tzibur, right? But unfortunately, what happens is that you end up, when you tzorchei tzibur, you can end up botching it, right? You have to make a lot of decisions when you're dealing with the tzibur. So halavai that they should go out. That's the same way they go in without doing any avera. The Gemara now explains exactly what this is. Rav ki have a nafik l'meidan dina. When Rav was on his way out to the Bezdin, Amar he said this: Bitzvu nafshei l'ktala nafik. On his own accord, voluntarily, he's going out to die. Bitzvu beisei less of it, and he's not doing anything for his house because he's not getting paid, right? And he's coming back empty-handed because again he's not getting paid. Well, that when he leaves should be like when he comes back. right? So meaning, I'm sorry, he's coming back should be like when he leaves. I mean, just like he left to Bezdin, he didn't do a chek because he didn't paskin incorrectly. So Rava says a similar thing. You have a nafik l'dina amar hachi. Rava, when he went out to Bezdin, he said this. Anton bet Aleph. Bitzvu nafshei l'ktala. Nafik, he's going out on his own voluntarily to die. Utzvu beise lesu of it, and he's not helping out at home. He's coming home empty-handed. That he should come home the same way he went out, which is that he didn't do a chet. Yeah. So basically, they're saying that becoming a rabbi is it's a high risk, no reward position. At least as a dayan, because dayanim are not supposed to get paid. What are you saying, Rabbi?
Shmuel, said from Satmar Rav. He said even a regular person, it should be the same way. When you leave the base medrash, when you leave your house in the morning, you're very good. Don't lose it in the street. The whole day you spend in the street, try not to lose it. Anybody, yeah.
That's a good word. Yeah. Okay, very good. So then the Gemara says and when Rava, right, would see people walking behind him, meaning after the shir or after the din, people will walk him out. Amar is saying Yalal Shemayim Siyoi V'Roishay Lov Yagia Kigelale Lenetzach Yovid Royav Yomru Ayo. Right, it's a pasuk in Iyov. Right, he's saying that the chashivas, you go up to Shemayim with the chashivas, and then your heads are in the cloud. Your head's in the clouds, right? You're gonna die like your kiglolo, like your excrement, right? And then they're gonna ask, "Where are you?" So he's basically saying something very humble. Rashi says, so that to take him because people were accompanying him, and there's a lot of gaiva involved, so therefore he said this so that it shouldn't get to him. Rav Zutra, so Rav Zutra, when they would carry him on the shoulders for the speech on the regel, so Rashi says he was old, and they used to carry him on the shoulders to the Beis Medrash so that people wouldn't have to stand up for him, which is a little interesting what Rashi's saying. Like, what do you mean they don't have to stand? Why did they have to stand up for him? Right? So it seems that
they wouldn't have to stand up for him as long. If somebody's old and they're walking,
because he would get there faster.
It would take longer, right? Like Rabbi
Right, but the way
always
Rashi
waits till Shemayim Esrei to go in by maariv because he doesn't want people to stand up.
Right, but here he says lahatriach esatziva lokum in front of, so they put him on the shoulders.
Right, so
that sounds like if he's on the shoulders, you don't have to stand up.
No, just get to the seat quicker.
I understand, but that would mean that they don't have to stand up for him longer. Rashi doesn't seem to say that. Rashi just says they don't have to stand up.
That's not the way I understand Rashi.
What's the alanki?
Okay, I understand.
Rashi.
Right? Alanki, I think, is some sort of board or something, a chair.
I thought it was a chair, so he's sitting, he's not walking. He's not standing up, you don't have to stand for him.
Is that the case? Even if he's in a wheelchair, if an old man comes in a wheelchair, you don't have to stand up? I don't know halacha.
I don't know. That's what I understood.
From here it's mashmanat.
Right.
Okay, whatever it is. I don't know. But either way, so he had them carry on.
ArtScroll puts the word in brackets that they carried him swiftly in a chair. Why would it, if they're not standing for him, why does it have to be swiftly?
Why can't it be a wheelchair?
It says it's
I don't know.
on
It says on the
shoulders.
shoulders. It says on the shoulders.
They bring
I'm
down.
saying ArtScroll puts in the brackets.
The word swiftly.
The Kute Rashi explains that it must be a Rashi somewhere else. But it's nice and it's on Mahir. They would carry him quickly. From a different Rashi, it seems like.
Okay, maybe it's a different Rashi. So then it would be a shtickle steer in the Rashis. Okay.
Or maybe Rashi's explaining himself better over there.
Maybe, could be.
Is this the only place in Shas
Okay.
it's in this story?
I thought we had this story someplace. I think it's other places. Hold on, what did it say? Sanhedrin.
Yeah, Rashi says right here.
Oh, I learned this a few months ago, but I guess that's bygones. Maybe that's why it's in my head. Maybe it's in my head, this thing. That's why it's floating around my head. I guess it's Sanhedrin. Okay, whatever it is. Fine. Yeah. Anyways, so I guess I'll check Billy Nether. Yeah. Anyway, so what did he say when he was being carried out? Because power is not forever, right? And does and is a nazer is a crown? Does that go from generation to generation? Right? It doesn't. It's all short-lived. Fine. That's so that's what they were doing to keep themselves humble. Then they want to say to do good for a rush is not a good thing.
Is it me or is it Tzviakov?
Nope, I think it's Silverstein.
It's the rabbi.
Yaakov Tzvi. Yaakov Tzvi. Tzviakov. Tzviakov. Tzviakov,
It's
you're
not
dying.
good for the Rishayim that they get.
Someone want to make him a tinfoil hat?
They lift
We
just finished the
faces to
daf.
them, meaning that
I was gonna
there's
say,
water in this
Somebody
world.
make sure we're up to the
Like-
right place so it doesn't go on forever.
I
What?
texted him.
Kenny?
We don't hear you. We don't hear you. Your internet
lost
got
you.
bad. About 3 minutes ago.
We last understood you in Ayin Vav Amud Aleph.
Eretz, we were doing so good. You had to be that guy in shul has to correct the Baal Kaira. We
Right,
were two Elias past it. What's the matter with you, Eretz?
I think I involved, there was a seam on I involved, if I remember correctly. Parents.
That's the end of a parak. That's where I'm going. I
Yeah,
can't wait
that's
till
what
tomorrow night.
I'm saying.
There's always that one guy who waits till he finishes the Leah and then tells him to go back all the way to the beginning of Shani.
Is he still there or he logged off?
Liner, we're waiting for you to give us an update.
Uh-huh. He's muted, right? Who's both stuffs are muted.
So Jesse, what's with the oil tanker?
I have no idea. I was at work.
They opened it up now. It's Parrots. It's all
Yeah,
done.
yeah. They opened it at 8 something, but I don't know what caused it.
Oh, they opened up all lanes? I heard they're closing one lane for a week.
It's all
No,
open.
they opened up all
It's
lanes.
all open.
I'll tell
Oh,
you one thing is very scary. That's our evacuation route. It's pretty scary.
Not only that, but one stupid road destroys the entire area.
Mhm.
I had to drive to Lynbrook and back, and it took me almost 2 hours.
Can you hear me on the video now or not?
Yep.
No?
Now we can, but you went
Yes.
all fuzzy.
I know, you know what it is? It's like watching something,
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk and everybody's telling me they can't hear me, and then it crashes. Okay, I'm not in camp tonight. I thought maybe it would work, but I guess I gotta do it in the camp. Okay, I'm staying on the phone also in case it crashes. Okay, anyway, so I'll go back 2 lines. Seis Pnei Rasha Loi Toi. Yeah, so
wait, I'm sorry, where are you? I was here, but I was in the car.
Ayin
7
Vav
lines
Amud
down.
Aleph.
I can only hear one.
It's Pezai,
Naftali, if it wouldn't be
9 lines from the top.
Naftali, if it wouldn't be a Maisa for tonight's Daf on Amud Beis, I would have a party with you. But you'll see, stay tuned till Amud Beis on the top. You'll hear.
Okay, at least you're not at Amud Beis yet.
Okay. Anyways, Seis B'nei Rasha Lo Tov. So being nice to a Rasha is not good. Lo Tov lahem l'Rishayim she'noisen lehem panim ba'olam hazeh. It's not good for Rishayim that we show them favor in this world. Lo Tov la'achav she'nosen lehem panim ba'olam hazeh. It's not good for Achav that he had a good world in this world. Shenemar yan ki nichna Achav miponai. That's we change it. Lo Evi hara b'yamav. Because yan means because he didn't make himself nichna, he wasn't machniya himself, he didn't make himself humble, so he's not going to give him bad. What does that mean? Why is he not going to give him bad? Right? So because he wants him to get the punishment in the next world. Now, famous Gemara in a few places in Shas that the reason why good things happen to bad people is because Hashem wants them to not get their reward in the next world, so he'd rather give them the reward in this world. Then it says, it could be, but if this before, no. I don't know. What did he do?
Isn't Yanki Nichna Mipanai means that since
yes, after this, he did tshuva. After this,
well, but I'm saying Yanki Nichna means he did tshuva, no?
What?
Doesn't Yanki Nichna Mipanai means he did
I'm sorry,
tshuva?
I said he was not nichna. I said he was not in. I'm sorry. No. It means he was. I'm sorry. You're right.
Right. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I botched it with the next Gemara or the one after that. Anyway, so yeah, because Achav humbled himself, right? So Loi Evi Arabi Yamav, he's not gonna have the curses on him while he's alive. Meaning he's gotta die. Meaning he could go back to his bad ways. That's what it's saying. Right? So anyway, so La'atis Tzadik b'mishpat, to give a tzaddik judgment. It's good that tzaddikim don't have good life in this world. It was good for Moshe Haman to be like a sheni because there's Lo Haman to be here, right here. He didn't, right? Hashem did not. I'm sorry, Moshe did not believe in Hashem. That's why he hit the rock as opposed to talking to the rock. Ha'ilu Haman to be a dying like he is man on the quantum and island. Mashma that if he would have believed in Hashem and he would have believed in me, right, in Hashem, then he would not have died so early. Meaning he died early because he did a yeah. Then it says Ashreim Tzadikim Lo Dayin Shein Zeichen. So Tzadikim, not only is it enough that they're going to be Zeicha, they're Mezaka, their children and their children's children until the end of the generations. Right? Meaning it's good for them and their future, right? I guess this is where you get Sklusavas from. I'm assuming. Is that safe to say? Yeah, Shakama Banam that should have been burned like another one of Yushanema Hanesarim, right? The leftovers. The father made it that they did not get killed. What was the Rishon? That not only is it not enough that the Mechayiv themselves, that future generations are also going to suffer. That they could have had smicha like Tevi, the Eved of Rabban Gamliel. That the chiyuv of their father caused it that they would not become good people.
How does this ever?
Fine.
How does this reconcile?
Has it reconciled with what?
Bechira. If a Russia, it's one thing if a tzaddik or a tzaddik gives chusim to his children, but for a Russia to make it that his children are not able to become something, how's that possible?
So no, because I think it just helps.
But if Tavi was Zaycha to become a Rav,
Tavi, he became something big. They used
but
him
it
for the
says that he
minion.
didn't become what he could have become because of his father.
He could have become
Because
even
of
greater,
Canaan.
but he became something big.
Right, but he was held back. Why is that? Why is that on him? That he wasn't able to become what he was able to become.
DNA, no?
I don't know. What is that? How does that reconcile with Bechira? That's what I'm asking.
All these things. So how does Chusavis and all this? How does it work?
I think it's more schwer that a person is going to be held back, even though he's a great person.
What are you asking? What are you asking?
He's asking that this takes away your bechira if you have Chusavis.
If somebody's a mamzer, it takes away. You can't marry into Kleisel.
It doesn't take away his chusim. He can be a mamzer Talmid Chacham is greater than a Kohen Gadol. What does that mean? It doesn't take anything away from him.
A mamzer Kohen Gadol can't do that.
I didn't say a mamzer Kohen Gadol. A mamzer Kohen Gadol is not a Kohen Gadol. A mamzer Talmid Chacham is greater than Mishnah says. A mamzer Talmid Chacham is greater.
A mamzer can't do certain things.
We're not talking about doing certain things. It held him back.
What do you mean? A mamzer can't. What do you mean? A mamzer can't do certain things. What about a bechira?
I don't know. No, you can't have that. He just is a mamzer. That's all. Okay, whatever it is. I hear the kasha, but I think we have this throughout Shas. That how do you reconcile it? It's a good question.
We have
genetics.
We have genetics. What's the same thing as having genetics? We all believe in genetics.
That does take correct, but it does take away from bechira.
Okay, so it does, no? So it does.
Okay, okay, so let's see. Kol mazakas harabim ein chet ba'al yoda. I mean, you could ask a lot of kashas in this Gemara, right? But anybody who's mazakat harabim is not going to be there's no chet. He's meaning it's not going to. They're going to make sure that a chet doesn't happen to him. Meaning Rashi says HaKadosh Baruch Hu pushes averas away from him that they don't come in. He's not. It seems like he's not put in a situation that's going to cause him to do an avera. Yeah. If somebody's machti rabim, they're going to make Hashem's going to make it that he's not going to have the help in order to do tshuva, which again Akiva also sounds like it takes a little bit of the bechira away, but that's what it seems. Anyways, call him mazakas rabim. Whoever's mazakat the rabim, ein chet ba'al yodoi, is not going to have a chet. My timer. Because what's going to happen is the ones who mazakir a rabbi, let's say Rosh Hashiva or whatever, or somebody, he's gonna end up going to Gehenna because he did a chet, and his talmidim are going to be in Gan Eden. Shenemar ki lo sasev nafshi l'shol lo sitem chatzitva l'rosh shochas, right? Because you're not going to leave my nefesh for shol for Gehenna, or the grave, whichever it was, and you're not going to allow the chasitcha to see destruction. We're not going to allow somebody who's machti ram to tshuva because he shouldn't be in Gan Eden because he's able to do tshuva, and all the talmidim that he taught how to do bad are going to be in Gehenna. Shenemar adam ashuk bedam nefesh ad bar yonas al yismiru boy. Right, somebody who's ashuk, he's bedam, he's guilty with dam nefesh. Until he's gonna run away until he gets to a bar, and they're not gonna be there to hold him up. Fine.
He brings down the Rambam, Kol HaMachtis Rabbim. The Rebbeinu Shalom is not gonna help him do tshuva. Meaning, if he does tshuva,
correct,
forgive him, but he won't. The siyata.
He could do tshuva. He could do it.
Right, but the siyata.
Correct. Hashem's not going to make it that. Correct. Hashem's not going to make it that he heard an inspiring. Yes, it's going to be like Hashem's not going to make him be able to hear an inspiring speech. He's going to miss it. He's going to this. The opportunities to do the tshuva are not going to be there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then the next, the Mishnah says that a guy says, I'm going to do a chet, I'm going to do tshuva, I'm going to do a chet, I'm going to do tshuva. Right, so that doesn't work. So I think Gershon, yes. So why have to say twice? Like we had this before, right? So since a person does an avera and he does it a second time, hutrulai becomes mutadim. Hutrulai sagadayv. Do you think that it means mamish becomes mutadim? Ela nasas like a heter. To him, it's like a heter. Once you do avera twice, it almost becomes like it's accepted. So if he says I'm going to do a chet and Yom Kippur is going to be mechaper, so it's not mechaper. Let's say the Mishnah is not like Rebbi, right? Rebbi was that Gevalige sheet of Rebbi. The Tanya Rebbi Emra Kol Avera Bein Asa Tshuva Bein Layas Tshuva Yom Kippur mechaper. That Yom Kippur gives you a kapara whether you did tshuva or you didn't do tshuva. So it's mashma that this is not like Rebbi, because Rebbi says Yom Kippur is mechaper no matter what. So it says no. Afilu Tema Rebbi Agav Shani. If a person says that maybe Rebbi would say that if you say that you're doing a chet, relying on Yom Kippur to bail you out, even Rebbi would be mad that doesn't work. It's only somebody who happened to have made did a chet, and that's what that Yom Kippur would help, even if he doesn't do tshuva. Fine. So averis shebein adam lamakom. So we said averis between a person and Hashem, he has to do tshuva, but between bein adam lechavera, you have to ask mechila. So Rav Yosef Bar Chavul Rebavo, Averis ben Adam leChavera Ein Yom Kippur mechaper. Averis between man and a friend, there's no kapara. If one man does an Avera against another man, and Hashem accepts, Hashem will accept his tefillah or whatever is tshuva. Man elikim. So what he says, what does mean elikim? It means dayana. It means the dayan. Elohim, don't touch it Elohim as it's referring to Hashem. Say Elohim because Elohim means a judge. So the judges will accept it if Hitaka does it right, but does not do it Hashem. But the Gemara asks on that, how could that be? The end of the pasuk says, "The im Hashem yechte ish mi yispaloloi." Right, but if a man does an avera against Hashem, who is going to judge him? Right? What do you mean who? Hashem could judge him. So no, so the Gemara goes back to the original pshat. If a man does a chet against another man, and upalalu, then elikim yimchaloi, and he upalalu means he sort of like he daven from the word tefillah again. He davens to him that he should forgive him. So then Hashem is going to be Michael. But if somebody does a chet against Hashem, who's going to answer for him? Tshuva u'maisim tovim. And then the Gemara says, what's going to help you get through to Hashem if you do a chet against Hashem is tshuva u'maisim tovim. Somer of Yitzchak, if somebody stresses out his friend, you bother your friend, even with just words, you have to appease him. Shenemar, because it says, B'ni, Im arafta l'reacha tokato lazor kapecha nakashto be'imre picha. Says, my child, right? So if you become an orev, a guarantor for your friend, right, and you put out your hand, then you're going to come caught with your mouth. What says in your mouth? Asay zois, right? Eifoi b'ni v'anatzel. So do this. Right, and then my son, and then you'll be saved. Right? Don't loosen it or whatever it is, but treat him like a friend. So in moment yesh b'yad hand, yesh moment, but you have money of his in your hand, right? So loosen up your hand and give it to him. And if you don't do that, you're gonna get a lot of bad things because you didn't do tshuva. Right? Fine. When you go ask somebody from Mechila, right? So everybody knows this Gemara because we paskin like this Gemara. When you're gonna ask somebody from Mechila, you go to him with 3 shuras made of 3 people. All right. What does this mean? Shenemar Yosher ala Noshim Yeah. So he goes to people, Vayomer Chatasi v'Yosher, and then he goes again, Hevesi v'Loi Shavali, and it's not Shavat to me. Right, so that's where the shura comes, the lashon shura comes from a line. Right, so it says in this pasuk, Chatasi, Hevesi, and then v'Loi Shavali. Those are all. That's 3 times where it sounds like he's doing tshuva. So since it's 3 times he's doing tshuva, then all you have to do is go 3 times for your friend. And then, like the Gemara continues, anybody who asks me shalosh pa'amim, don't ask him more than 3, because it says, "Ana sana va'ata sana." Oh, forgive. And let's say the person died not to ask him for mechila t'bnei adam, made an akiroi. I did a chet against Hashem and against Pliny. Yeah. So you don't have to go to the cave with 3 people. How come you only have to go to the cave with 10? Anybody have a shot in that?
Yeah. Hello?
No, the truth is no.
Hello?
Hello, Zev.
It's the Parrot Stein commercial.
This is 10 station. What do we call 10-second station identification?
And yeah.
DafZoomy.com. Let's do a plug.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now it came back. Okay, so let's go back.
What was the kasha?
Oh. Meaning, why can you go to front of somebody with 10 people and ask them for mechila when they're alive?
When they're alive.
I don't know. I'm saying clearly you can't. But also, that's not the main. The main thing is here. He says you're not allowed to go to him more than 3 times. Why can't you go more than 3? It sounds like it's usher to ask somebody for mechila more than 3 times. That's the lashon.
Well, you're bothering me.
Al yivakesh says al yivakesh mimenu yosem mishalosh pa'amim.
If the guy's being in action, you don't have to go to him.
I guess.
It'll make that other guy look really bad if you go more than 3 times.
Your father said something on this in one of his Rosh Hashanah shirim. I don't remember, but he spoke about going more than 3 times. He spoke about this.
Yeah, and it's a machlokes whether you can go back more. It is a machlokes. But you're right, Rebbi. That's coming up from the next Gemara.
Maybe it's the same like asking a guy down for the Amud. You have to ask him multiple times.
So that's 3 also, no? Doesn't it say 3? You sound like a real gabbai.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
I had a different shot. Why does he have to go to the cave with 10?
Why go to the cave with 10?
Yeah, what's 10?
What's Pshan in 10? I don't know.
Yeah, well, what are you accomplishing? What are you accomplishing with 10?
So clearly there's a minion that's going to paskin, and they're going to say that's mechila.
So what? 3 is the best. Why 10? I'm saying.
Right, that's all. Yeah. So, but I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Why 10? Why not 50? Why not 71?
It could be because, I mean, the Gemara says it's a little different what you're asking mechila for. He's saying I was chayted to Hashem also. If the guy already came to Hashem, you're not just chayted to the person, you're chayted to Hashem. So it's a different status. Maybe then you need a minion of people when you come in front of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So it's a little different than asking mechila from the person himself, where he's not in Shemayim yet. Now you actually have to ask mechila from Hashem as well as the person.
So I want to, maybe the pshat is that if you have 10 people, the Shechina comes down. So now you're asking the Rabban Shalom with 10 people for forgiveness.
I hear.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a very simple difference. When the person himself can forgive you, you just need the base din for him to forgive you in front of. When he can't forgive you anymore, then what are you asking forgiveness for? For being mevayish him. So being mevayish yourself in front of something that's called a kahal is being mevayish yourself, Barabbin. That will take the place of the mechila.
Why is 10? Maybe it should be 71.
10 is ikri kahal.
Why is color?
Okay, I hear.
Why is color important?
I don't know.
That's called a rabbin.
All right, let's see weiter. Okay, Rav Yirmiyah Avalei Milsel Rav Abba Bahadei. Rav Yirmiyah had a problem with Rav Abba. Also, Esev Adosha to Rav Abba. He went to sit by the door of Rav Abba. Bahadi Shadi Amse Maya, and when the cleaning lady, the Amsa, was throwing out the water, muttar Zarzifi the Maya Resha. So the drops of water went on his head. Amar, so he said, Asuuni Ka'ashpa, they made me into garbage. Kara Nafshe, so he called on himself, May Ashpa is Yorim Evyon. Yeah? So Peret's first song of the Daf. May Ashpa is Yorim Evyon. From the garbage, he lifts up. Yeah? Shamar Rav Abba, but Nafik Lape. Rav Abba heard and he went outside. Amar Lei said, Hashta Tzrichna Lamefa Gadaite. Now I have to Adaitcha. Now I have to be Mephias you. Now I have to try and ask for Mechila. Right? Tichtiv Lech Hisrafes Verav Reach. Go make yourself humble and make him like a leader. That's what you have to do. So that was, I don't know if that was done on purpose so that he would end up trying to get mechila from him. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not. Okay, but either way, that was the end of the story. Rav Zera Gavalei Milsa Badi Inish. So Rav Zera had an issue with somebody. Have a challah b'tani l'kamei mamtile. What he would do is he would walk back and forth in front of him, ki hechi denesi v'nepukle midaite, so that the person would chap. Oh, I have to ask him mechila, and then he would ask mechila. Rav,
why couldn't he just be meichel him? Why do you have to walk in front of him?
Oh, because that's part of the deal, is to ask. That's from these gemaras. It's masha. The person has to actually ask for mechila.
But he wasn't asking. He wasn't asking for mechila. So he walked in to put in his face that you should be asking for mechila.
He was, yes, that's exactly what he was doing. Yeah.
Why does he just be meichel him? Why does he have to put it in his face?
First of all, maybe he wasn't meichel because he wanted him to ask. If he calls money, he doesn't ask, he's not going to be meichel. That could be one.
So I'm asking, why wasn't he meichel? Why wasn't he just meichel him?
But maybe he didn't want to unless he asked him for mechila. And a chanami, it says, you ask him a question, right? Why couldn't he just be meichel him? Okay, weiter. Rav Havalei Milsa Bahadi Yahu Tavcha. Rav had an issue with the butcher. He didn't, but the butcher didn't come to him to ask him mechila. But Maila Yom Kippuri Amar Ihu. So once he got to Erev Yom Kippur, so he said to himself, Ezel Ana Lefayusile. I'm going to go to get him to be Mephias me. So Pagabe Rav Huna, he met Rav Huna on the way. Amar Le Lehechaka, where are you going? Lehechaka Zamar, where are you going? Amar Le Lefayusile Leplanya. I'm going to try and make up with this Pliny. Amar Ezel Abba Lemikdal Nafsha. What you're doing is you're going to go kill him. Right? The pshat is he's going to kill him because if the guy's not going to ask you mechila, then he's going to end up dying. So Azav Akam Ilave. So he went and he stood on him. Ava Yosef Akam Pali Reshe, and he was breaking the bones of the head of the animal. Dali Eine V'chazia. He lifted up his eyes and he saw him, the butcher. Amar Le Abba. He said to him, Abba, At Zil Leslie Milsa Bahadoch. Go away, because I have nothing with you. Meaning, I'm not asking you for mechila. The Bahadi, the Kapali ratio, as he was breaking the bones of the head, Ishtamid Garma
So one of the bones flew out, and hit him in the throat, and killed him. So Rav Zera, who was it that told him?
Rav Huna.
It was Rav Huna. Yeah, so Rav Huna, right. Rav Huna, yeah, he said you're going to kill him. So Rav Huna was right because he didn't ask Mechila, so he was right.
So
Fine.
this
Rav,
is how the butcher died?
This is how the butcher died, yeah. Because he wouldn't ask Mechila from Rav Zera. I don't know if this applies to normal people or only to rabbis. Fine. Rav have a pasuk sidra kamei the Rebbi. Rav.
Wait, this was Rav, not Rav Zera. Rav Zera was a part of this?
Oh no, that was the previous story of Rav Zera. This was Rav, right? That was Rav. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rav Zera was way after. Rav Huna was the Zakin. Yeah. Rav was his Rebbe.
Right. Correct. Yeah. So let's see. Rav have a pasuk sidra kamei the Rebbi. Rav was saying over a shir. He's saying over psukim in front of Rebbi. Yeah. Ayil. So he went up on Talmud Beis. Ayil. Also, then he went up. Then also Rav Chia came. Hadol Reisha. He went back to the beginning of the shir. Yeah, Naftali, you listening to this? Ayil bar kafra.
Yeah, but the second you said Amud Beis, I paid extra attention.
Yeah. So Bar Kafra came by and he started the shir again for him. Also Rav Shimon Berebbi came. Hadol Reisha. He went back again. As they were coming, he kept starting the shir again. Also Rav Chanina Bar Chama came. Amar Kulei Hai Nahadar V'Nezel. I got to keep going back. Layada. So you didn't go back. Ikbid Rav Chanina. Rav Chanina was makbid. Why did you go back for me? He went back for everybody else. Why not for me? Also, Rav Lagabei, Kleser Mali Yom Kippur. Rav went to ask him Mechila for 13 Arab Yom Kippurs. And he was not appeased. It's from here you see that you are allowed to ask more than 3 times. Okay? Fine. And how did he do this? Right, so that's the Gemara's kasha. Right? How can you do it any more than 3 times? Rav Shani. Rav was different. Pashtus is because he went l'fnei Meshuras Hadin. Machmer, he was machmer on itself. So you see from this that you can, Lamaisa, you can ask more than 3 times if that will work. Now it may not work, right? Because it might actually cause more agitation if you go ask. And so you have to figure out exactly what's the proper thing.
He brings down other Rishonim that the Rebbi is different. Your Rebbi is different.
Right. So some Agoira said it was the Rebbi. Right. Rebbi is different. Yeah. What are you saying, Akiva?
Rashi says that Rav was teaching Nevi'im and Ksuvim. It's Stam Shver and the whole. Rav was teaching Navi. I'm saying,
what's wrong with that?
It's Shver on us. That's why.
Good enough. Very good. Very good. Fine. But Rav Chanina hechi avid hachi. And how could Rav Chanina do this? Anybody who's over on his midas, then all his averes will be Michael. Meaning, if you're Michael, everybody, then you'll have all your chataim. So what's the pshat that Rav Chanina wasn't Michael? Ela Rav Chanina, chalma chazile the Rav. He had seen in a dream there's a kfu bedikla that he was hung on a palm tree. Ugamiri, and it's like Allah l'maisha misina. That's what Gamiri usually means. I don't know if that's what it means here. Right? Ugamiri, the called is a kfeo bedikla. Anytime you see somebody hanging on a tree, Reisha Havi, he's going to be a leader, a head. Amar Shmamina, boy Lemeva Rishusa. He wants to become a Reish or something. And so therefore I'm not going to be Mephias. So he's going to go to Bavel. Meaning, Rav Chanina was the Rosh Hashiva in Eretz Yisrael. So he saw that Rav is going to become a leader. He was afraid that if Rav becomes a leader, that means Rav Chanina is going to die young, because one leader can't go into another leader. So Mamela, he didn't want to be Michael, instead he goes off to Bavel and it'll become a Rosh Hashiva in Bavel, and everybody will live happily ever after. So meaning he was doing it l'shma. He wasn't doing it just because he was offended. Fine. Taner Rabbanon. Mitzvah's Vidui, Erev Yom Kippur im Chashecha. The Mitzvah's Vidui is to do Vidui when it gets dark. Aval Amru Chacham, the Chacham say, you should do Vidui before you eat and drink, which is why we do Vidui by Mincha on Erev Yom Kippur. Shemer Tarav Daite Besuda, because perhaps you're going to lose your mind by the meal. Yeah, meaning you get drunk and you won't be able to do it. That's one pshat. That's what Rashi is saying.
Really? Who's getting drunk at that meal?
Rashi says,
I understand what it says, but who's getting drunk at that meal?
What does that mean? Who doesn't have a drink before the fast?
All I'm going to say is like this.
Or after.
Yeah. Well, this just proves how frum and great our generation is. Everybody wants to say our generation is lousy. I mean, you go through these Gemaras, our generation is gewaldig. And Lani is taiti, our generation is gewaldig. Yeah. So why is Mashiach not here? That's a question for the big people to answer. Ich weiß nicht. But I think our generation is mamish gewaldig. But anyway. So that's what you're supposed to do. But the Welt doesn't go with that pshat. The Welt goes with the pshat that, and I think Shulchan Aruch passes like that, is because you might choke. You might choke by the Suda. So therefore, you want to make sure you get it on the one Vidui. What are you saying?
That's why you don't have fish the second Suda.
That's because you don't want to choke on the bone, right? Yeah.
So you have Mamela, parrots, Mamela, you don't have Schnapp for the second Suda because you didn't have L'chaim for after the fish. That's it.
There you go. Even though you did Vida before you eat and drink.
Yeah, but does that apply to gefiltered fish?
It's a light plug. It's a light plug, but it's no fish.
Parrots are very upset.
Or
falsa
fish. Falsa fish.
The schnapps isn't because of the fish. The schnapps is to whet your appetite for the meat. Why do you have schnapps by the second Suda?
No.
Yeah, so and even though you did Vida before you eat and drink, you have to do Vida after you eat, because perhaps you're going to have a kalkala by the Suda. And even though you do Vida by maariv, you saw the Shachris. You Shachris, you saw the Musaf. The Musaf, you saw the Mincha. The Mincha, you saw the nilah. Right? That's why we do so many Vidus, to give us the opportunity to because to do tshuva more and more times. Where do you say it? The Yachid Achar Tfilasai. Yachid says it after davening. That's the whole issue. Do you say Yul Ratzin? Do you not say Yul Ratzin? And the Shliach Tzibur does it in the middle of davening. My Omar. So what do you say? Omar Rav, I'll tell you there, Rozei Olam. You know all the hidden things in the world, and then etc. etc. Shmuel Omar, Mimakei Halev. Rashi says that's some sort of tefillah, which we obviously don't have anymore. The Levi Omar was Sarasla Kos of Lamar, right? And the pasuk says, Kiba Yom Hazeh Yichaber Aleichem. That's the end. V'Yochanan Omar Riboin Ha'Elamim. Peretz, look at the Rashi. This is the real song of the Daf. Look at the Rav. Ki lo yaltid kaseinu anachnu my pilim. Tachnunenu lefanecha.
Ah, I hear. Where's my mo?
That's right. That's right. That's I don't know if the Olam knows this nigga. It's a relatively new nigga, but yeah. So anyways, that's another one. Yehuda Amar ki avanesenu rabu milim nois araveros are too many to count. Avanesenu atzmu misaper, and there's too many chatoim. Rav Hamnuna Amar elikai achlo nitzarti ani kedai. I'm not. Before I was created, I wasn't kedai. This is my personal favorite. After shenitzarti ki ilu loy nitzarti, afarani b'chayoi. I'm like dirt now. And right behind the Vidui, the Rava Kula Shata. That's what Rava said a whole year round. Or the Rav Amnuna Zuta b'Yom Kippur. And Rav Amnuna Zuta said it in Yom Kippur. Yeah. So Amar Zutra, and we do obviously our Gevaldige generation. We do all of these, right? Not only don't we get drunk by the Susan of Seconds, we say every single one of these Viduyim, except for the one that we lost. Right? The Gedolim and the Amirayim didn't. Each one had their own. But we do all. For Hashem. Just saying, yeah? That's we're a good generation.
We're not sure.
What?
Because we're not sure.
Correct. Correct. We do everything. But we do that in every area of halacha. That's the difference. That's what I'm saying with the goddess of our generation. We do this in every single area of halacha. Right? Oh, we're not sure. We're just going to pile it on. Yeah. I'm saying, and it's gewaldic. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't say it only if you didn't say aval nachlu chatanu, aval omar, aval anachnu chatanu. But if you did say anachnu chatanu, suloi tzarich, then you don't need to. Then you don't have to do any more tefillas because aval nachnu avatenu chatanu is the ikr thing.
Your father said that's the most important part, right? So he used to say.
This is part. Yeah, Doman bar Abduri, have a kimna kamed the Shmuel, standing in front of Shmuel. Have a Yosef, and he was sitting. V'chimata shlicha de tzibura, when the shliach tzibur got v'amar avanachach chatanu, come make him. He stood up. Amar shmami no ikar vidui. I could see from this that the ikar vidui is that, which is what we learn from this Gemara is that you're supposed to stand for vidui. You can't sit. Yeah. Okay. We'll start tomorrow's. That was obviously very short, so we'll stop over here. Okay, because a new sugya. A good enough.
Take your shkoyach.
Yeah.
This last Amud is a shtickle mashma like Rebbi. You have a whole Masechta of Yoma, and the only bit that's like, what's our avodas hayoyim? Right at the end, the last Amud of Yoma.
What?
Like Yom Kippur does it itself. What?
Yeah.
It's like Yom Kippur's mechapa, like Rebbi. Avadi should do tshuva. But it's like the tshuva is like an afterthought here. The last Amud of the Masechta. Finally get to it.
I hear. Right, you're right, but I guess that this is good a time as any, no?
Yeah, but I mean, by us, it's like the Iker. No, Shamnu, we have the Viduyim through the roof on Yom Kippur. Here you have Machlokes Amayroim. It's 3 words, it's 5 words, it's 1, whatever. It's kilat an afterthought, the whole Masechta.
I don't know why you're saying that. That's part of this whole parak.
The what? The what is? We've been talking about tshuva in general. This is the first time we've mentioned actual Yom Kippur, avodas Yom Kippur today. Half the Masechta was about karbanos and the Kohen Gadol's avodah, and this is the first time we've mentioned what our avodah is on Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
No? All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I hear, but the first 7 prakim were all about the avodah, which is the ikr part of Yom Kippur. Unfortunately, we don't have the Beis Hamikdash. No.
Right. That's true. But there was enough about the vidui of Kohen Gadol. It didn't mention there that we say vidui keneged that or anything like that. There's no mention of our vidui until here. Even in this parak, we're talking about tshuva in general, where when you need tshuva and Yom Kippur, you need tshuva and misa. What do you need in general? But when it comes to Yom Kippur, this is like the last, whatever. It's not even a whole amud of it.
I hear.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to try and find myself a maariv now. I missed the maariv. All right. Daven. Daven.
Eretz, have a good one.